It's been a while since I've done an update video like this, so I thought I'd give you an update, especially about the 1966 shipping, waitlist, all that sort of thing. But I'll walk you through all the projects that I have some news about. So it's not going to be an exhaustive list. I'm not going to mention everything, but I'll walk through anything that's relevant and that I have an update for. So again, if you don't hear your project mentioned here, means there's no news. So let's start about the 1966 shipping. We are currently shipping batch 3. We're working on that, and it's scheduled to ship by the end of November. Might be a few days early if customs works with us, but like everything, it's the shipping and customs that decide how fast we can ship certain batches. So batch 3 on schedule for end of November. We're also preparing for batch 4, so people in batch 4 who will get theirs in December should have gotten their first emails just about today-ish. And starting today or tomorrow, we will even start emailing people who are scheduled for batch 5, which is not scheduled until January. Why, you ask? Well, this is the most important reason for this update. There are quite a few people who are behind. They're behind on payment plans. Some of them we haven't heard from or haven't replied to a message since way before the summer. Funny thing is, we send like a dozen messages to those people and then they don't respond until Janneke tells them, okay, this was the final warning, we're now canceling your order, and then we get to hear from them. Doesn't matter. It means that for starting in batch 3, so starting in the batch for November, it seems like there are slots available. So that means people, first come, first serve, who have paid in full from batch 4 in December will move to batch 3. So don't email about it. So it's really first come, first serve. And like I've promised all the time, if you want it early, pay it off in full, and you move up to those slots that are available in earlier batches. So when you get your shipping invoice, pay that too, and you should be fine. So I can guarantee some people from batch 4 that is scheduled for December will get it shipped by the end of November. And then the same for batch 5. That's why the people in batch 5 will start seeing some shipping emails. Now, we're only writing to those people in batch 5 who will have a shot on at slots in batch 4. So if you have gotten or will get an email in the coming days and you're in batch 5 for January, then that means if you pay it off, and again, first come, first serve, there's a good chance you get it before Christmas, because batch 4 is currently scheduled on the website for December 23rd. But again, customs and shipping willing of the final parts, it might be earlier than that. It might even be a week earlier than that. No promises. Again, this is outside of our control. But again, everything is on schedule. Then finally, we have one more batch to talk about, batch 6, which will be shipped in February. I think it's safe to say that people from batch 6 will move to batch 5. I would not even be surprised if some of batch 6 people could move as much as to batch 4, because we're getting to the point now with batch 3, batch 4, we're way past the halfway point. So you're getting to those batches where more people in those batches are still on payment plans than have paid in full. So there's quite a few slots available for people to move up. And for batch 4, it might be around half. Batch 5, it goes to, it would be logical if that also is at least half of the people. So if you want yours early, and if you want to help us out, just pay off in full so that we can have those batches full and we don't have to hold on to products and store it more than we have to. So again, it's first come, first serve. So that leads us to the wait list. There's quite a few people on the wait list, but it's still early days. So I suggest, if you're interested, get on the wait list. The only way to get on the wait list is go to the sold out page on our website. Then for the 1966, this is only available for the DX, so the base version is sold out. There's not even a wait list for that, but for the DX version, there's a wait list button. You can click it even if you don't have an account, but I suggest register for an account, log in, then click the waitlist button. You won't have to fill out anything. The computer then takes all your information and puts you on the waitlist. Again, it's first come, first serve, but with up to batch 4, we've only got like a couple of dozen people who are so behind that I think it will turn into a cancellation. We've given them plenty of warnings, but with so many people on the wait list, if you just don't respond and don't pay for months and months and months, then we will cancel your order and just refund everything minus the NRD and be done with it, right? We've actually got a couple of people who didn't even pay the NRD, and it doesn't feel right to keep those people on order if they don't respond to any messages, don't even place a deposit while we have so many people on the wait list. No company does that. If you place an order, you pay for the order, or at least pay for a deposit to secure your order. And if you don't respond to 5 or 6 messages over a couple of months, I'm sorry, that's it. So get on the wait list while you can. Still a good chance. 1989 Batwing, ahead of schedule. If you look at the schedule on the website, first production samples are done. You've seen them if you're part of the Facebook group. I've also shared them on a couple of forums, I think. People who started asking about that. The only thing you're still left to be shown of those early production samples, the decals, basically. So that will be sometime this week or next week. But basically, that first production sample is very relevant, because that's actually like a very small first production batch where we test all the tooling and all the molds and see if everything fits together as we planned and as we prototyped. And if that's good, then we can start the first full batches, and we start to prepare for the first shipment of the first batch. So for the 1989 Batwing, we expect to start shipping the very first batch by late January or early February. That's the planning for now. Again, barring circumstances out of our control. 2022 Batmobile. Production has also started. That's why we increased the NRD for the production NRD, and it is on schedule. Tooling production has begun. It's a large and complex piece, so tooling will take a couple of months. But we hope to have the first production sample, again, that very first tiny production run, done in February. And then we can start on the first actual batch, which will then ship late May or early June, again on schedule. Snowspeeder is in production and on schedule. If you look at the schedule on the website, tooling for that one takes as long as anything we've ever done. It's because not only is it a large project, right, a large product, but the parts are bigger than anything we've ever done. So for the Batwing, we can have a main body and a wing and another wing and some other pieces, right? For the Snowspeeder, we can't break that body up into 3 pieces, so that's huge. So that takes a vast amount of time to produce the tooling, to do all the CNC work. That's months and months of work. But again, it's still a part of the schedule and on schedule, which means we have the first production samples done. Again, that's first production batch, test run, early January, and then we expect to ship the first batch to customers in the first batch, first come, first serve again, in May. Then Bat Signal, they're all done. We will make one final batch that ships in December, but everyone who's paid off so far has gotten theirs. And it even means that today or tomorrow, depending on how much work I still have to do today to get through all the messages together with Chiara, it means I can convert some people from the wait list. So again, if you are interested in the Bat Signal, get on the wait list. I will start writing to the first people on that wait list. Well, actually, I've already converted a couple. I will move through that wait list, first come, first serve, in the next couple of days. So people who are on the wait list, be on the lookout for my email. If you haven't heard anything in a couple of days, it means you are too far down the list so far. Display tiles. So 90% of you have gotten your display tiles right now. There were a couple of final pieces that needed to be done. I made a couple of mistakes. So I fixed that, making some free pieces for those people, and I could convert a couple of people on the wait list as well. From what I've heard from my supplier, these things take a long time to machine, so they are scheduled in end runs when the machines aren't as filled during the weekends. So he hopes to have that done by the end of November for the final batch of display tiles for people who have ordered that. So if you send me a PayPal payment for a display tile, your order is counted, and it will be made, and if you have not received anything, you will probably get yours shipped around the end of November. 1995 Batmobile. I expect to have the final designs for a new 3D model and 3D designs and engineering done, I guess, tomorrow. I will make a new video, show that to you guys with all the feedback that you've given me. And if all is well, we can move on to prototyping. So the challenge here is that people pointed out that the pointy bits on the end aren't as pointy as they should be. And we're running into some legal issues here, especially for countries like China and the USA, where there's a limit to how pointy something can be because, well, you know, all the accidents and killings with people who have 6-scale Batmobiles. Anyway, so we're trying to figure out how sharp we can make the points without making them too fragile and too illegal. You will see what we have come up with in the next few days. If all is well, we go on to prototyping. That means I have some time available to do some more design work. And for the design work that I can talk about and can show you, that will be the 1989 Batmobile in 6 scale. So as soon as the 1995 goes from design to prototyping, we will have something in prototyping. We will have some in tooling. We'll have some in production. And that means I can have some in design phase again, and that will be the 1989 Batmobile in 6 scale. First off, all the questions about 12 scale. The only other project I'm willing to attempt in 12 scale is the 1989 Batmobile, but only after the 6 scale is done and proven to be successful. Then I can try, and I've talked about this in the past, but for the people who've missed that, so what I'm thinking is, this is a chicken and the egg situation, right? We've tried the 12 scale a couple of times now, so for Star Wars and for Batman, always turns out to be a disappointment, even though it's way cheaper than the 6 scale stuff we're doing. These people have a very different budgets, even if you take into account the scale difference, and that's because there's much higher volume in that market, right? 12 scale, especially if you look at Star Wars Black Series, that's hundreds of thousands of units instead of what we're used to doing, like a couple of hundred units worldwide, right? That works in 6 scale, doesn't work in 12 scale. So I could say, because I think the sweet spot for a 12 scale vehicle on the level that we're doing and the detail that we're doing, the sweet spot should be around $250 for the sales price. If you look at the sales price of our 12 scale BVS Batmobile, that's what the price point that you need if you only do a couple of hundred units worldwide. So extremely limited edition for 12 scale, right? So for the 12 scale, the final test that we're going to do is that 1989 if the 6 scale is done and successful. And then we're going to do Kickstarter, because the only way to get to that $250 price point is if you do a couple of thousand of them worldwide. I don't know how many that couple of thousand will be. We'll have to do the calculations when we're done. Again, that's why we need to do all the engineering and the work for the 6 scale. And then let's say it's 2,000 or 4,000 units, then that's what we will make the Kickstarter campaign. Then we can guarantee that price point, right? Because if we have just put out on the website $250 for a 12 scale Batmobile and we sell only a couple of hundred like we did for the 12 scale BVS Mobile, then I'm screwed, right? Because I can never make that for $250 unless we sell thousands. So that's new for both of us. I found a couple of suppliers who have much experience in that volume, but they can also do the level of detail and quality we're used to, including in the paint department. So I'm excited to try that, and then we'll see how that goes. Back to the 6 scale. 1989 Batmobile, I can start prototyping in Q1 next year, as soon as the 1995 prototype is done, ready and sealed, and starting production. And that's around the time we can open pre-orders, right? All right, quick insert here. Derek asked me to also address the BVS Batwing and BVS Batcomputer. So there's no news that I can talk to or mention. The issue we're running into is that there's a minimum product order requirement with Warner Brothers that we're just not meeting with those products right now. We're still talking about this, negotiating about it. I think I might be able to work out something for the BVS Batcave Batcomputer. Not sure yet, but we're just not sure on how this goes. But worst case scenario is we have to cancel the orders for the Batwing and the Batcave, for the BVS Batwing and the BVS Batcave. Of course, in those instances, if that happens, you will get everything back, including your NRD, because we weren't able to deliver. So we don't know where we are, and if I do, I'll let you know. We might try rebooting the BVS Batwing and 12 scale. I don't know, but right now, no news. So that's the situation on those two. All right, another insert. So Janneke heard me do an update, and she asked me to also mention that we are working on the payment solutions. So there's a couple of things that were already in progress. We mentioned the changes in the PayPal regulations, at least in the Netherlands or Europe. I'm not sure how local that is, but PayPal is going to be phased out for pre-orders and payment plans. So the new PayPal guidelines say that after 90 days after this message, so that would be sometime in December, the orders that we can accept PayPal on are going to be any order that can be delivered in 21 or 22 business days. So that would mean only items that are in stock and are ordered paid in full, so without a payment plan, meet those guidelines. And of course, shipping invoices, because those, when they are paid, will also be delivered within the 22 days restriction. So that's one thing. If you want to pay with PayPal, starting December, the only option is going to be using PayPal for stuff that is in stock and shipping invoices. So basically anything that we have that can be shipped in 22 days. No pre-orders, no more payment plans on PayPal alone. So PayPal will be available for all other situations and all other use cases. Costs for PayPal will also increase, so we will have to add, I think, a 3% add-on for PayPal. So I think we all want to phase out PayPal, and only the people who really, really need it, that's what's left. Wait until something is in stock and pay it, or use it for the PayPal shipping invoices. Everyone who wants to use PayPal for other situations, so for payment plans and pre-orders, please do so before, let's say before Christmas, because that's, I think, when we'll phase it out for payment plans and pre-orders. Now, we will also be introducing a new payment provider. We have started a cooperation with Stripe. Many of you will have heard of it. It's the biggest payment solution provider we could find, and that means that to negate issues with people who can only use PayPal, Stripe adds a lot. So more credit cards. I think there are going to be fewer, if maybe even none, no more credit card denials, credit card issues. They have a very, very low rejection rate. I mean, assuming your credit card isn't blocked or you don't have the money or whatever. So credit cards are going to be more and more easily accessible, and we don't have to add any any cost on top of that. So that's going to be much more interesting to use, especially when we start using Stripe. We can also add solutions like Amazon Pay, Google Pay, and those sorts of things. Bank transfer will be available. Klarna will be available in Europe alone. So Klarna, we can't offer that in the United States. Same for Affirm. That's only for US-based companies, so that's not an option for us, unfortunately. We looked into that. Thank you for suggesting. It's just not possible. So there are going to be more payment solutions, better payment solutions, faster checkout, easier checkout, less problems with credit cards. The only thing is, if you want to pay with PayPal, only for stuff that's in stock, no more payment plans. And if you want to use PayPal, you'll only have a couple of weeks on pre-order and payment plan items. So that's the other update. So that's all the updates and news I have for you so far. If your project wasn't mentioned, and I think I mentioned most of it, then I just don't have any news. Thanks for watching, and until next time.